Hey guys and gals, thanks again for tuning in right here on Hook, Line, and Singer. I'm your host and resident singing fisherman. A little bit different of a video today. I'm not really going fishing. Oh, I'm going to have my fishing pole and make some casts and that sort of thing, but we're mostly going floating, where you see me bank fishing a lot. I'm going to put this kayak in. This is a 12-foot Perception Pescador 12.0. And that was the first fishing kayak I had. That's kind of wheels now, and that's my Perception Pilot pedal driven one back there in the back. But for where I'm going, we want something smaller, so this one right here will be just ideal. I want to show y'all some really pretty places. Just going to do a little bit of floating today. Hope you'll enjoy it. Stick around. Sorry, the airplanes are out doing their zoomies today. We're actually in the middle of a pretty much a warm front here. It's the first part of November, first week of November actually, and it's warming up to near 80 today, and I think it's supposed to over the next couple of weeks, and I'll take it. So today I'm out here in my original fishing kayak. I think my dad and his brother are in here. I'm floating down Bear Creek. One thing I intend to do today, if nothing else, and that is to cut some limbs off of some of these pilings down here where I fish often, and I'm so apt to get hung in. Anyway, I don't know if we'll get any fish to bite or not. This is more of a frolicking escapade than anything. Appreciate y'all being here. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Well, I've gone down the creek a ways until I got to a big log, and now I'm headed back up the creek. Trying, that is. It's not near as easy to go up the creek as it is to float down the creek. Old paddling's pretty easy, but where you get in trouble is when you go over something that's just under the water surface and get hung up a little bit. It can be harder to get back over when you're going up the creek than it is when you're going down the creek. Sure is pretty in here. If you're not careful, like right there, the current gets pretty swift and wind up sideways. Once you get going in a lightweight kayak like this, it's not hard to get up the creek. Of course, it's not hard to get down the creek. It's not hard to get up it either. Even in a lot of current, as long as you stay straight on with it, you just kind of float across the surface.
Yeah, he told me a while ago we're going to cross the creek. I'm looking around. I told him, I said, I'll tell you what now, you may have some boots somewhere taller than mine, but I don't believe you're going to go across the creek now. Bob, right over there, on that point where we was at, while ago. Let's cross the creek. Let's cross the creek.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'd have to borrow his guy to get over there. How we gonna get out of here when he leaves?
Hey, I was in it. I got the first bass at it, didn't I?
In this one?
In that one.
Where at?
Remember, made Will mad? Will said, "You caught the first fish by boat." A kayak is a neat little thing.
Well, that right there looks like it wouldn't. It looks like I would, be tippy
Looks like it'd be tippy.
for me, but he's dead as a rock.
It's pretty. It's kind of tippy, but it'd be hard to tip over. I mean, not hard, but
Look at all that he done. He didn't hardly put a ripple in the water.
And they use them things in Switzerland.
Well, I'll see y'all up yonder. I'm gonna see how far I can go up that way.
Okay, we're gonna ease off about
Right.
You're gonna learn that part.
I called Bernie, but I was Bob last night. I called Bob. She called you everything.
Yeah, she called you and named up who you are. Hey, drink that drink.
My goodness, this is beautiful. Trees like that giant southern pine right there are safe now thanks to legislation lobbied for in front of Congress by the late Ray Scott, founder of BASS, Bass Angler Sportsman Society. He was a conservationist in the purest sense. And that was one of many things that he did. His original idea. Another one was catch and release. In bass tournaments, they took off points for every dead fish you brought in. And that sort of thing. That was all Ray Scott's idea. He recently passed away, but his mark on fishing and conservation will live on and on and on. Well, this looks to be about the end of the line. I'm just going to turn around and float back, enjoy the scenery. Let y'all enjoy the scenery. I saw somebody's post on Facebook this morning. Really got me thinking. She talked about being incarcerated and how she was actually thankful for that last time in 2011 when she was incarcerated because her life had changed. She spoke about a pastor, a local pastor who came and picked her up from the jail, and in spite of her just being a horrible person, somebody was there just to help her and to help her get cleaned up and all that stuff. And but how people loved her through it anyway, and more importantly, God loved her through it. She went into more detail, but basically, she was living a very, very rough life and doing things that she knew she didn't need to be doing. Drugs, I'm sure, since she was in and out of jail. But God got her through that. And it got me thinking. I don't even know the person. She's a Facebook friend of mine, but I didn't even know her. And I don't really know what she's been through. But it got me thinking, in spite of the crowd that we may be associated with, what they tell us, in spite of what the world around us tells us, and it's absolutely all just filth now. In spite of all of that, our lives would be so much better, so much better, if we would just live a life pleasing to God and live how we should. Teenage kids that are rebellious and having problems at home and problems with their mom and their dad and that sort of thing, if they would just act right, all of those problems would go away. Does that mean we'll be perfect? No, I'm not perfect, nor do I claim to be. Far, far from perfect. I have to pray really hard just over thoughts that I have, because God knows our thoughts as well, not just our words and actions. He knows the very deepest corners of our hearts. Proverbs 14:12 covers it all. And it says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And it goes on and continues along in that theme. But the good part comes later in that chapter. Verse 27 says, the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. See, just like when we fear our parents or our parents' wrath, when we know we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, that they've taught us better or told us not to do, we should fear, love, and respect God enough to keep His commandments and keep and live the way His Word teaches us to read. And if we would just do that, our lives would be better, the entire world would be better. So I pray that a revival of conviction would sweep our land, and that the church people, first and foremost, would get serious about how they live for God. And then the people who are lost around us would see that, and their lives would be affected by it positively, and they might turn to God.